StraightallDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the 3 foundational laws of energy. Now, I like doing these episodes where I'm giving you the laws of things, because when we understand the laws, then we have a baseline from which we can work. And what I find is a lot of people simply do not understand the laws of a lot of things. And when you don't understand the laws, then it's very easy to end up making your decisions based on how you personally feel, your opinions and your views and the things that you can rationalize. But that's a bad idea. That's why we talk about the laws. So we talked about the Law of Association, episode 1880. We talked about the Law of Attraction, how it actually works, in episode number 2383 and 2384. We talked about the Law of Inertia in 2466. We talked about Parkinson's Law, how it applies to business, in episode 2639. The Law of Entropy in episode 2806. The Law of Diminishing Competitors in episode 2963. We talked about the first 3 laws of economics in episode 3261. And here we're going to talk about the 3 foundational laws of energy. If you didn't hear me talk about the 5 forms of investment, and let me see, that was episode number, let me get you that episode. It's one of our foundational episodes, one of my favorite episodes that I did, that I've referred back to many times in life, many times in the life of this show. Is episode number 609, the 5 forms of investment and how to use each one. The 5 forms of investment, in case you didn't know, are time, money, attention, energy, and focus. So today we're talking about one of those 5 forms, which is indeed energy. Energy is defined scientifically as the capacity to do work when you have no energy. That is also known as death. If a plant runs out of energy, if your dog runs out of energy, if you as a human runs out of energy, then you will be officially pronounced dead on the spot. Okay, so energy is one of your 5 forms of investment. What that means is that you need it in order to achieve anything in life. If you're going to achieve anything in life, you need energy, and you must give time, money, attention, and focus to it. All of those things require some form of energy. Money itself is an energy. So we previously talked about these laws. We talked about the Law of Entropy, the Law of Inertia, the Law of Association. Now we're going to talk about energy, which is, again, I told you, one of the 5 forms of investment. Energy makes up 85% of the job in all of life, meaning if you have no energy, the other 4 cannot make up for what you lack in energy. Okay, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you do. Let's get into it. Point number 1. Today's topic, once again, is the 3 foundational laws of energy. Number 1, energy is everything. I think I pretty much told you that in the introduction. And this is a law here. So this is not, I'm not just saying that. This is not a saying. I literally mean this scientifically. Energy is everything. Okay, understand, these are laws. These are not theories. These are not principles. These are not my opinions. Energy is everything. What does that mean? It means that everything in life is made up of energy. People are energy. Person with no energy is dead. Thoughts are energy. Emotions are energy. Intentions are energy. Your thoughts and feelings are not just in your head. They have an energy that can influence your experiences, and they can influence your environment. In short, if you have no energy, you can't do anything, you will accomplish nothing, and you will be nothing. As a matter of fact, when you have no energy, as I already said twice already here today, you are literally dead when there is no energy left in your body. When there's no more energy coursing through your veins, again, you're dead on arrival. It's over. It is time to schedule your funeral. So if you want to give yourself a fighting chance of success in life, a puncher's chance, as they say in combat sports, step up your energy. Best way to give yourself a chance in life is to step up your energy. An idiot with a lot of energy has more potential than a genius who is completely lethargic and without energy. As the saying goes, it's easier to calm down a lunatic than it is to revive a dead body. It's easier to bring you down when your energy is really high than to bring energy up when it doesn't exist. So if you have no other options in life, if you have no other skills, and you have no intelligence whatsoever, at least have energy. All right, that energy is worth a lot. You can get people behind you and listening to you and following you just based on your energy, even if what you are doing, saying, or leading people towards is based on a whole bunch of nonsense. If you got a lot of energy, you can get people to get behind you. You can get people to pay attention to you. How many of you have found yourself wasting 5, 10, or 20 minutes on your phone, on social media during the day when you're supposed to be working, simply because something was able to draw your attention and your energy, simply because whatever it was intriguing enough to keep you focused on it when you should have been, you only opened your email to check for one thing. Before you know it, you spend 10 minutes looking at something that had nothing to do with that one thing you're supposed to be looking at, or on social media, or in your text messages, or anything like that. Why? Because it somehow, some way grabbed your energy, and all your energy went towards it for an amount of time that it shouldn't have been in the first place. Energy is magnetic. And magnets, a literal magnet literally has energy. Right? The opposing poles of the magnet are what draw them to each other. And if you put two poles next to each other, they push away. You can feel the energy of them pushing away from each other because the poles are not attracting. But there's energy there. When there's no energy, there's nothing. Right? Everything falls apart when there's no energy. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the 3 foundational laws of energy. Number 2, energy is contagious, aka this is also known as the law of vibration. The law of vibration. What that means is, as I just sort of explained, when we talk about magnets, energies can attract or repel. If you are vibrating at a low frequency, there are low frequency energies such as anger, fear, scarcity. When you're vibrating at that low frequency, you tend to attract more of that energy. In short, and actually on the flip side, rather, so these energies that I just said, the low frequencies, anger, fear, scarcity, you attract more of it. And when you're on a high frequency energy, on the other hand, high frequencies are energies such as joy, confidence, abundance. These bring more of that. In short, you become the energy that you put out. Everybody has heard that before. What you put out is what you get back. Most people call that the law of karma. This is what it is. All right. Point number 2 here, energy is contagious, is also known as the law of karma. That's what most of you call karma. That's this. Energy is contagious. The energy you put out is the energy that you are attracting back to you. Okay. The energy, you become the energy you put out, and you attract people and experiences that are in sync with the energy that you are radiating outward from within you. If you're radiating anger outward, then you will attract more low frequency energies that match the energy that you're putting out. If you are radiating high frequency energies such as happiness and confidence and joy and abundance and positivity, you will attract more high frequency energies back to you. I gave you a way that you could actually practice this in your own life in episode number 2023, the life-changing 48-hour experiment. If you have not listened to that episode, please listen to it so you can understand it, because a lot of explanation I'm giving you right here, I went into a more in-depth explanation back in episode number 2023. The long and short of 48-hour experiment, and again, I suggest you listen to the episode so you fully understand it, is for you to go 48 hours straight only vibrating in high-frequency energies. You're not allowed any low-frequency energy for 48 hours straight, and it will change your life if you can make it 48 hours. The reason why it sounds so simple, but it's life-changing, is because most people can't go 48 hours. 48 hours straight, meaning no mistakes, 0. You make one mistake, you got to start back at 0. I don't know too many people who've been able to pull it off. You go try it and see what it does for you. Again, this is also known as the law of attraction. Energy you put out is energy you get back. You attract what you put out. And also the law of karma, as I already explained. So while some people only tend to talk about the law of karma when they are either looking for a bad outcome for someone that they don't like, or they're experiencing a good outcome for someone that they do like, and they'll say, oh, all your hard work paid off. Well, hard work always pays off, even when it doesn't seem to be paying off. People only say that hard work pays off after they see a result, but hard work is paying off even when you're not getting a result. It's still doing something. Sometimes it's working on you, even though it may not be working for you, at least not yet. But a lot of people don't want to give it credit. A lot of people only want to give credit to something when they can see a tangible result, or they can show a tangible result. But what all of you need to understand when we're talking about the fundamental laws of energy is that energy is always producing in its own kind more of the same, even when you cannot tangibly see what it's producing. In other words, if you keep thinking positive, 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 and you're radiating joy, abundance, and happiness, even though things may be cloudy and rainy in your life while you're radiating that energy, and you don't see any results from it, and someone can look at you and say, well, you're doing all that, you haven't got any results from it. It is producing a result. You just can't see it yet. There's a difference. But understand, the law of energy says, again, I'm giving you this in the second point. Please understand this. The energy that you radiate is attracting more of that energy to you, even if it hasn't made it to your doorstep yet. This is the discipline. The discipline is maintaining the energy even though you haven't gotten a tangible result from the energy yet. The reason why most people can't go 48 hours straight while only radiating positive and high frequency energy is because most people are not immersed in a world in which everything is positive and high frequency energy, which means you have to consciously push against the neutral and negative energy in your environment while still radiating that positive energy. And that is a mental and emotional challenge. That's hard to do. There's a reason why most people can't go 48 hours straight with this energy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It wouldn't be life changing if it was easy to do. Anything that's easy to do is not life changing. Things that are challenging are life changing. They're not hard to understand, but they are hard to execute. And this is the point that I want you all to understand. And I want you also to understand. People, again, only talk about karma when it seems to be obvious, but karma is always applying, whether it's obvious or not. Karma doesn't take days off. These laws, folks, they apply to at all times, to all people, and to all things. Scientific law does not go on vacation. It does not take days off. It does not only apply when you decide to consciously think about it. It applies at all times. In other words, you have a bunch of negative thoughts and you didn't mean to have negative thoughts. Those negative thoughts still count. It's kind of like if you're on vacation and you eat a whole bunch of cake and ice cream to get away from your diet. That cake and ice cream still counts the next time you step on the scale. It's not like the cake and ice cream says, okay, we won't count against you because you were on vacation, buddy. So don't worry about it. No, that's not the way it works. Everything counts. I remember telling this to a coaching client some years ago. Don't let your weekends cost you your weekdays. In other words, if you're trying to lose weight and you're doing all good Monday through Friday and staying away from junk and staying away from beer and cake and ice cream and anything else that can cause you to put on pounds, but then over the weekend you decide to have a quote unquote cheat meal and you eat a whole bunch of fried chicken, cake, ice cream, and drink a bunch of beer, and you put on 5 extra pounds just on Saturday and Sunday alone. When you get on the scale on Monday, Saturday and Sunday still count. The scale doesn't say, okay, we're only going to count Monday through Friday. No, everything counts. So understand that these laws that I'm giving you, folks, they don't take a vacation just because you're on vacation. They don't take a day off because you are taking a day off. These are laws. They apply at all times and all places. Everything you do counts. So whatever energy you're putting out most consistently, you are drawing the result of that energy back to you, even when you're doing it by accident, even when you're not doing it on purpose. Understand that scientific law takes no days off, no rest, no weekends. These energies apply to what you say, do, think, regardless of your reason for doing it, regardless of your reason for saying it, regardless of your reason for thinking it. They still apply. No exceptions. Speaking of such, point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the 3 fundamental laws of energy. Third fundamental law of energy. Energy cannot lie. Energy cannot lie. Not it won't lie. It cannot lie. We all have the human ability. Every single one of you has been in a situation in your life when you could pick up on the vibe of another person, of a room, of an environment. Whether you could do it consciously or not, you could feel the vibe of other people's energy. In other words, energy cannot truly be faked. You cannot truly fake energy. Even if your words and actions are super polished, you can still not fake energy. This is how some people can read. You ever find yourself just reading another person? Even though they may have been trying to present one thing, you were reading something different in them. Has any of you ever experienced that? And why are we able to do this? Because we can pick up on the unseen, unspoken, energetic states of people, even if their outward conscious presentation and their words are saying one thing, we can pick up on something that's not being said. Some people are a lot better at this than others, those who are more observant, and usually those who have either a whole lot of life experience and you've learned to see through people's facades, or people who have very little life experience and you're just looking at things at the most raw level and you notice things that people who are somewhere in the middle with all this conscious thinking clouding their brains, they have basically thought their way out of. So a 12-year-old might be able to see something that a 32-year-old can't see. Because the 12-year-old doesn't have their brain clouded with a whole bunch of thoughts of ways they're supposed to think. They're just looking at things raw and they give you a raw, unfiltered take on what they're seeing. This is why you talk to any public speakers, they'll tell you talking to a bunch of 6th graders is harder than talking to a bunch of corporate employees, because the corporate employees are trained to be polite, even if they think your speech is boring. But see, 6th graders aren't trained to be polite. So if you're boring, they're going to show you that you're boring within 2 minutes of you starting your speech. So we can read other people because we can pick up on unseen, unspoken, energetic states in others, regardless, again, of what they're trying to show us. We can see what they're not trying to show. And again, some better at this than others. Not everybody has this skill at a high level. This is the reason why everything I've said here so far, this is the reason why there's no such thing as faking it until you make it. That's not a thing. I talked about this in my TEDx talk called Dear Dre, How to Be Confident When You're Not. This whole concept of faking it until you make it. Because the energy that you're carrying is a real thing. That's not a lie and it's not fake. Whatever energy you're carrying, you're really carrying that energy. Now, whether you have decided to put that energy on as a way of kind of psyching yourself up into carrying yourself differently, and maybe the rest of your life is not reflective of that energy, that doesn't mean that the energy is fake. Now, the presentation that you're putting forward may to somebody else seem fake because they've never seen you that way before, or they don't believe it's possible, or you may even think that it's fake because you are thinking constantly in your mind, this is not real, this is not real, this is not real. But the presentation, the energy that you're carrying, if you can get yourself to truly believe it, is a real energy. Now, whether you're able to fool other people into believing it along with you, or not even fool them, but influence them into believing it along with you, is a whole different thing. That just depends on how well you carry the energy. How well do you embody the energy that you're looking to have? I talk about this in my book, The Mirror of Motivation. If you haven't read it, I suggest you get it for free by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. Your energy speaks louder than your words. The energy you're carrying is a real thing. It is not fake. Again, and your energy speaking louder than words applies in business. It applies in relationships. And it applies when you're walking through the local grocery store. People can pick up on the energy and they make inferences about you based on the energy that they feel. People feel you before they hear you. If you're a public speaker and you walk on stage to give a speech, people make judgments about you before you even say anything. As soon as you walk out there, they make judgments about you based on your energy, based on the way that you show up. Now, understand, people can't make any judgment about your energy without your consent, because whatever you're presenting is what they're drawing off of. Doesn't mean everybody's going to have the same opinion. Some people might not like girls, or some people don't like tall guys, or some people don't like black people, whatever it is. Yes, they have their own personal biases through which they're seeing you, but the energy that you put out there is the only energy they can go off of. Again, energy cannot lie. So if you step on the stage and you're really confident in yourself, even someone who doesn't like girls who wear red, they can still feel that confidence, even though they may be predisposed to not like you. They can't act like you're not confident because they can feel it. Again, energy cannot lie. If you do not believe in yourself and you're going and doing something in which you don't have the confidence and you don't even believe you should be doing it, that energy can't lie either. People can read the lack of confidence coming off of you, and they'll take advantage of it. Understand, folks, business, relationships, walking through the grocery store, it applies everywhere. People don't have to know you to feel your energy. You may be wondering then how someone can fake a certain energy and get away with it and fool a whole bunch of people in the process. There are many stories of things like this. Take, for example, Bernie Madoff. So everybody remember Bernie Madoff? He had the pyramid scheme that he was doing, and his great investments and these great returns he was producing every year that didn't quite seem to make sense, but he was just this wizard of Wall Street. And it turns out that he was faking it the entire time, or lying to people the entire time. Excuse me, he was not faking it. Let me correct myself. He was not faking it. He was lying to people the entire time. I read a book about Bernie. I believe it was called The Wizard of Lies or something like that. And in this book, let me see if I can find that book because I want to make sure you all know. This is actually a very good book. I would suggest all of you read it. And I think it was called The Wizard. Let me see. Wizard Madoff. It was called, no, it's not in here. I think this book, when I read it, it was in, where is this? Let me look on Amazon. I got books in so many different places. Sometimes I forget where I read them. I think it was The Wizard of Lies. The Wizard of Lies is the name of it. And I believe The Wizard of Lies became a movie. So this is what they used on the cover of it, was this, I think it became either a docu-series that was starring Robert De Niro. I didn't see the video. I read the actual book called The Wizard of Lies. And in this book, it is shown Bernie Madoff. Yes, he knew when he first started doing what he was doing, the part that became the pyramid scheme, that he was doing the wrong thing. But his intention, I believe his intention was that he was going to fix it as soon as he got enough money. The problem is it just kept self-perpetuating to the point that he couldn't stop it, and he just kept it going. And the thing is, energy cannot lie to the trained eye of a person who knows what to look for and is highly aware. You can't lie with your energy to that person. Now, a person whose eyes are untrained and they don't have a lot of life experience, you may be able to fool them, but you won't be able to keep fooling them because eventually they'll learn what they missed the first time. You can't fool them with the same thing the second time. It's like in basketball, you can't hit another player with the same move over and over again because eventually they're going to get hit to the move and they're going to stop you. If your eyes are untrained, you don't know what to look for, your awareness is low, then you could easily be fooled in any aspect of life. The thing about Bernie Madoff is that he got to the point that he told himself the lie, let's say, so to speak, so often that he came to believe it. So when he presented himself to other people, and there were people who were looking at him in very scrutinizing ways because they're investing your money with him. I mean, it doesn't get any more personal than investing your own money with another person or allowing them to invest your money and taking that risk that they'll do the right thing with it. And there are a lot of people scrutinizing him deeply, trying to figure out, is this guy for real or not? And guess what? A lot of people decided he was for real. And a lot of people gave him his money, their money. And you see what happened. Energy cannot lie. All right. So the point is, even though Bernie Madoff was lying, the energy he was producing to get people to buy into him, that was real energy. That energy was not fake. That energy was real. And it's the same thing for the rest of you. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is the 3 foundational laws of energy. Energy, one in the 5 forms of investment, along with time, money, attention, and focus. And regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're going, energy is 85% of the job. Number 1, energy is everything. Energy is how people, thoughts, emotions, and intentions are made. You remove energy from a thing, then that entire thing dies. Number 2, energy is contagious. In other words, the law of vibration. And high frequency energies attract higher frequencies. Low frequency energies attract low frequencies. It's also known as the law of attraction. Some people call this the law of karma. All in this context, the exact same thing. Whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. If you haven't put that thing out, don't expect to get that thing back. Number 3, energy cannot lie. We all have the human ability to pick up on vibes, consciously or not. All of us have done it before. Some of us do it a lot more and a lot better than others, but everybody has the capacity to pick up on the vibes and the energy of another person. Understand that other people are picking up your vibes and your energy, even through a device and through a screen. They're picking up on your energy. In person, they can pick up on it a lot better because you have the physical aspect that goes with it. But whatever energy you want the world to see in you, you got to make sure you are showing the world that energy on a consistent basis to the point that the world accepts this is who you are and this is what they should expect of you. But recognize and respect these laws of energy because they are not going away and they are not changing. All that said, everybody, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to step your energy up. You want to step up your sharpness. You want to step up your presence, your aura, and get people to buy into and believe in you just from the very fact that you walked into the door before you say a word. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. I'll show you exactly how that's done. Work on your game. Dre all